Hello and welcome to the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. I am Mariam George Jitubo. You can follow us live on YouTube on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. Down to the news proper. Federal Secretariat Abuja, which houses many ministries, departments and agencies of government, gradually bounces back, with workers returning to work as activities pick up in the city. Ramatu Abdullahi reports.
The weather today is clement, and so it is with the mood of the city. Here at the Federal Secretariat, a lot of civil servants are seen around the premises. Entrances to the office buildings have been reopened with increased human and vehicular movement. This is to enable workers to commute easily and gain entry into their offices to carry out their mandatory duties. Civil servants in the various MDAs within the Federal Secretariat were at their various duty posts early, while administrative functions were in full swing.
Last week, everywhere was dull, but as of today, everything have come to normal.
We have to come out to work, to get what to eat, to feed our family at home.
Yesterday, I went out with my mom, we went to Carol Market, we bought some items. That was when we had at least the rest of mind.
Things are getting back to normal. People are coming back to to work. It is not really peak effective because this is a week. Hopefully by next week things is going to be back to normal fully. Yeah.
Meanwhile, there was also visible security presence at specific locations at the Secretariat office complex as well as Eagle Square to forestall any breakdown of law and order. Ramatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Out of the over 8 billion people in the world, everyone is said to be traced to an indigenous root, which forms their unique identity and culture. Tessie Omeri in this special report relates this with the 2024 World Indigenous Peoples Day celebration.
Now, a day like this reminds people of their roots and cultural heritage, but beyond it is the need to cherish and promote it for generations yet unborn. For instance, the attire I'm wearing is of the Kwararafa indigenous people, depicting the rich cultural heritage over centuries. Aside these beautiful attires, other interesting attributes of the indigenous people is that they safeguard 80% of the biodiversity due to their control of land and forest. Unique dance steps, cuisines, morals and values. All these need to be preserved for posterity. And what better way to preserve such than a commemoration?
Except for a day like this, that people will begin to now go back to their history. Certainly, sooner than later, you discover that the people may even forget where they come from. Even the ordinary simple language you discover now in your house because of the exigencies of time.
Rural-urban migration has taken place. As we have internal migration, we have international migration. Indigenous people must be respected because they own the land and it is their land. And we must be able to respect them. We can't come from different places and come and displace the people who are indigenous to the community. And this again brings about the question of tolerance. We must be able to tolerate one another.
Aside the annual observance, stakeholders are advocating for more.
Now we made it a law now. And I think that is what other tribes in FCT have made it. That for every tribe in FCT, if you are marrying my daughter, part of the attire which is compulsory should be the local Gwandera costume.
For the over 371 indigenous tribes in Nigeria, the cultural diversity speaks volume. For the indigenous peoples of the FCT, blessed with 9 tribes, they are using the annual observance to call for more recognition, taking cognizance of this year's theme, protecting the rights of indigenous peoples in voluntary isolation.
This is a public commission. The law says every state should have an indigene to be a chairman of that public commission or commissioner of that commission. But recently, our commissioner, his term has expired. They brought one man from Kogi State. We cry, we petition it, but I thank God the head of state that the president has looked into it and withdraw back the appointment and asked her to bring one person. So we are not after every language. Let us submit the names. When they pick any one of those, it's okay for us.
While Nigeria celebrates Indigenous Peoples Day, stakeholders are saying that there is need for the country to leverage its cultural diversity to promote peace and unity of the nation. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
And joining me now in the studio to discuss more on World Indigenous Peoples Day is the President, Original Inhabitant Development of Abuja, OIDA, Deladi JG. Glad to have you on NTA Abuja studio.
Thank you very much for this August opportunity you have given me today to come to celebrate World International Day of the World's Indigenous People 2024. My name is Pastor J.G. Danladi, the President of the Original Inhabitants Development Association of FCT OIDA.
Well,
happy to meet you today.
Thank you for introducing yourself once again.
Yes.
And I must confess, you're looking good. I love your attire.
Well, you see me, this attire is already with the name. I'm carrying plenty caps on my head. I'm dealing with the original inhabitants of the FCT. This one that is the overall here is demonstrating the Gombe people, Waja and Co. Because I am the president of the original inhabitants, as I said before, and at the same time, I'm a member of the Middle Belt of Nigeria, the 15 Middle Belt states of the Nigerian system, and at the same time, I'm the liaison officer of the Conference of Autonomous Ethnic Community Development Association of the North Central or Middle Belt states. So it's a privilege for me to be here today. Thank you very much.
Now, what is the cardinal content of a people?
The cardinal content of the people's existence is their language. In Nigerian context, we are speaking English so that people will hear us. I want to plead with the whole world today in the International Day of the Indigenous People. Since the world has seen it deemed fit to take the whole decade declaring the indigenous right and the people's value and the collaboration of the existence of the humanity since 2002 to 2022 to 2032, which is a decade of indigenous people's right. And this year is focusing on protecting the right of the indigenous peoples in voluntary isolation and initial contact. With this focus, I pray that the indigenous people all over the world should give every language the opportunity to thrive. In our Nigerian context, Nigeria came to existence in 1914. Before Nigeria came to existence to be in 1914, all the villages in Nigeria that is harboring over 550 languages were occupying the land that is over 950,000 square kilometers of land of the Nigerian state. We were all here. But suddenly, the Nigerian person that concocted the name Nigeria brought out a challenge that we cannot be able to manage. Even now that I speak to you, we are using a language that is not part of this continent, our country, Nigeria. And the Nigerian that is here is using 3 languages to say that they are the owner or the dominant people here, whereas there is no clear historical fact about that. This kind of development is hindering development, and I thank God for the World International Indigenous Day that is focusing on the peoples who voluntarily isolate themselves for initial contact, so that anybody meeting any people, they should give them their right, their language, their background, their land, their ethnicity, and their development. If not, there is no way you can lump the whole country and say the 3 major ethnic groups determine what happened in Nigeria.
Now, how can we better recognize and respect indigenous rights and cultures in Nigeria?
Well, this question is so big for me because I don't know how to answer it because I'm a very terrible victim of the indigenous language problem in Nigeria because I am coming from Federal Capital Territory. But I'm coming here, as I enter your gate, I saw you wrote FCT Channel 5 Abuja. There is no place called Abuja in the Federal Capital Territory. Federal Capital Territory is harboring 858 villages. And all the villages have their names. There is no place particularly called Abuja. Originally, that place, Abuja, is the Suleja that was the owner of the name Abuja. There is no justification, if not trying to muddle and crush the Bali, the Bari, the Gede, the Gana, the Gwandara, Basa, Igbira, Koro, and Mama that Murtala did broadcast in that February 1976 and said that the three major ethnic groups does not have any space in the Federal Capital Territory. Only these 9 languages are the owner of this land. And yet, because the three major ethnic groups are not here, according to the broadcast, that the land is virgin. Oh God. And when he made that statement on the 3rd February, on the 13th February 1976, he was assassinated. Obasanjo took over the matter and discovered that there were over 450,000 households in FCT that needed 2.8 billion naira to resettle them. Today, the three major ethnic groups are not in FCT. The whole Nigerians are now clamoring, and the thing is coming aptly with the youth protests to tell the country that we should do things rightly. When this protest came, and this August opportunity came to me, I saw that definitely I suspect that this government is trying to maybe do something maybe differently. And I pray that the head of state doing this statement, he will do the needful. And this program, I am crying and pleading with the entire Nigeria and the world and the indigenous people. Please, you cannot rule and manage this place as it is, because the youth came out to protest that 36 states of Nigerian state need good governance. While the FCT people have no governance since 3rd February 1976, 48 years of existence of our capital territory. And you are even naming us Abuja. And we are not Abuja, we are Federal Capital Territory. If you come from Lagos, you will hear somebody saying Abuja. When you come to reach Abaji, you will see Federal Capital Territory. If you leave Jos, you come to Yanya, you will see Yanya, you will see Federal Abuja. You are from Kaduna, you will reach Zuba, you will see Federal Capital Territory, you will see Abuja. Yeah, therefore, there is only Federal Capital Territory, not Abuja.
Okay, thank you very much. What last word do you have for our viewers?
The last word I have for our viewers is that please treat the Constitution of Nigeria should have original inhabitant people and give their cultural right and the way to live and give out our state status, because the Constitution, even our president who is working now is in position because he won the whole 37 states of Nigeria, and now the youth are protesting in 36 states. What happened to FCT?
Well, thank you very much for coming on the news. I've been speaking with the President, Original Inhabitant Development of Abuja, Daladi Joji. Glad to have you once again.
And thank you for this time. I suspect all who are watching know that anybody who wants to say it the way it is after peace. Address FCT matter. We have not given you land in FCT. Federal government have no land in Nigeria.
We say thank you for our land.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, impacting quality knowledge that is accompanied with moral skills and character has been the foundation principle of Centagon International School, Abuja. The school management reiterates its commitment to upholding these highly cherished values at the 10th graduation ceremony of the school. Abdullahi Ajia has more.
As the Centagon International School class of 2024 rejoices with their latest academic accomplishments on a day that defines joy and honor, the graduating students, with the support of their parents and teachers, celebrate. On the occasion, the school management and the keynote speaker, reminded the young scholars to uphold the excellence and quality knowledge the school has impacted on them as they advance to the next phase of their academic pursuit.
These teachers are really imparting in their lives, not only in knowledge, but also in skills and values. And that is what we see in the lives of these children today.
I wish them all the best. Like it said in Harvard Review, you finish your learning, but you never finish your education. I believe we have empowered them, not just with knowledge, but with life skills, with values, which we wish them to apply so that they can be resourceful.
We have also equipped them with so much in this school. For instance, everybody have been talking about pride. It's the foundation of this school in terms of character development, life skills, and what have you.
Parents and guests who were satisfied with the school standards commended the efforts of the total transformation of their children as demonstrated in their abilities and performance.
So Joshua Akibu has kept to faith to what we've taught him. Seeing him today graduate is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced as a parent.
The graduating students who were visibly happy with their accomplishments spoke on the testimony of the impactful learning at St. Tagon International School.
It's always good to start as early as possible so that it doesn't pile up on you. And I always make sure that even if I read something at home, I come to school and I also try and apply it.
It's very interesting, very character building, but it's a very safe and friendly environment to grow up in and build your character in.
Performance from the young scholars added color to the historic event. While awards for outstanding and exceptional performances in both academic and non-academic fields were presented. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Over now to our business desk for business news.
Ministry of Trade and Investment says it is committed to the development and promotion of non-oil export commodities, and Central Bank of Nigeria approves bailouts for Unity and Providus Bank merger. This is business news, and I am Serafina Okon Omekwe. The Central Bank of Nigeria has granted approval for financial accommodation to support the proposed merger between Unity Bank PLC and Providus Bank Limited. These according to statements signed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, Hakama Sadi Ali, the Acting Director Corporate Communications. It reads, the Central Bank of Nigeria has granted approval for a pivotal financial accommodation to support the proposed merger between Unity Bank PLC and Providus Bank Limited. This strategic move is designed to bolster the stability of Nigeria's financial system and avert potential systemic risk. According to the statement, the CBN's action aligns with provisions of Section 42, subsection 2 of the CBN Act 2007. And moving on, the guidelines for the suspension of customs duty and taxes on imported food items are to commence next week. The federal government announced this earlier this week as part of measures to combat rising food inflation across the country. The initiative was based on the implementation of the Presidential Accelerated and Stabilization Advancement Plan. Adeniyi said, there is the issue of striking the balance between the long-term interests of Nigerian farmers and stakeholders who are involved in the production of these items and the short-term interest of food inflation. And moving on to local stories now, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, says that they are committed to the development and promotion of non-oil export commodities across the value chain for job creation. This was at the launching of National Association of Agricultural Commodities in Abuja.
One of the major challenges with Nigerian products at the international market is quality, says Ambassador Nura Abba Rimi, Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, and that the agency has taken proactive steps to changing the narrative. As participants of the 18th Association of Agricultural Commodities, is to ensure the country becomes self-sufficient in food production and in line with Mr. President's renewed hope that dependency in oil is reduced while non-oil sector improves in terms of value addition to the development of the economy.
These associations are formed by private individuals, but what we do as government is to ensure and provide enabling playing field for them to be able to flourish. And government do give incentives to the private sector for them to be able to perform better.
These commodity associations have been nurtured and critically examined by the ministry to ensure that they adhere strictly to quality.
The Federal Ministry of Trade and Investments says it is committed to creating an enabling environment to attract private sector investment and promote competitiveness of Nigerian products in the local and international market.
And with that, we've come to the end of Business News today. The news continues shortly. I am Serafina Okon Omekwe.
For stories trending in the sports world, here is Sports Brief.
World record holder in women's 100 meters hurdles, Nigeria Toby Amusan, has missed out of the final at Paris 2024 Olympics. She finished third in her race this Friday morning after clocking 12.55 seconds. Team Nigeria is still in search of her first medal at the Paris 2024 Olympics after another disappointing day in the day 13 of the games on Thursday. The hopes on the trio of Ese Brume, Ruth Osoro and Pristina Ochonogo in the final of the long jump event was dashed, with Ese Brume finishing 5th with a jump of 6.70 meters. Ruth Osoro finished 10th, while Pristina was placed 12th. Nigeria's Rafia Tulawal narrowly missed out on a podium finish in the women's 59 kg weightlifting, finishing 5th in an intensively competitive field. Nigeria also failed in the women's 200-meter canoeing, as well as the women's freestyle quarterfinal in wrestling and women's and men's 4x100-meter relay challenge. This development has left many sports fans and pundits worried as the country is missing out on the medals table that has Kenya, Botswana, South Africa, Cape Verde, Uganda, Egypt and Algeria.
Indicates that we only pay lip service to sports in the country. We don't pay enough attention to athletes' discovery and development. We have not funded sports enough, and we don't have enough professionals handling our sports as we have seen. And then if we cast our minds back to what happened at the qualifiers for some of the events, we saw how some of our athletes struggled.
With Sports Brief, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
For being part of the news at 1, I am Mariam George Jitubo. Good afternoon.